Yeah. All right. So, first and foremost, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's been a minute. So the last live I did, I don't know what was going on with the internet. It wasn't being friendly, and I wasn't going to keep that up for the public because I didn't want to. I didn't want to. I was like, that looks like trash. Let me just make sure the mic is set properly, or I will lose my mind. Because there's nothing I hate more than when my mic sounds like hot garbage. So I worked too hard and I've tried so hard. For those of you just joining, what's up? It's me, Audra. You know, I wake up in the morning popping to Excedrin or whatever it is that Kesha said. So, welcome in, girly girl. Hi, Janet. Hi, Camo. Hi, Angela. Hi, Brisket and Ribs. How are y'all? For everybody who made it to the movie night last night, thank you. You actually made my night. I was having a rough time, and we'll be having another one next Saturday around the same time, I believe. So we're going to watch Attack the Block. It's going to be a fun time. So I would like to also thank my patrons and channel members, without whom I would not be able to create this content and make it semi awesome. Listen, listen. This is a situation. I'm trying a new thing here. We'll see if I like it. I'm trying to decide if I want to actually get this done. So this is like a test run, you know? Do do I look good with a septum piercing? Yay or nay, my friends. All right. So, and hello to Donna, and thank you for the love on the earrings. Listen, I'm living my life. I can see that the stream is already going better than it was the last time. So we're gonna hope for the best, just like I am with my route. All right. Yay. All right. I'm probably actually going to hop on Twitch after this as well. I need to put that information somewhere. So if y'all want to come hang out with me while I play Cyberpunk 2077, feel free to do so. It's Audra Reigns at Twitch TV. Um, so yeah. I feel like it's been a minute. So I've lost my mojo. You know, I've been working a lot. Also, quick story before we get into the reason for this live. I sleep shop. I know that that sounds ridiculous, but because of the amount that I work, I don't really get to enjoy most of the fruits of my labor. I pay bills and then I just like come home and I go to sleep. If you work 5 days a week, 10 to 12 hours a day, you just have a little bit of problem. Kay, you're not very late at all. I don't know how to, I moved this around a couple of times because if I'm being perfectly honest, I couldn't find my phone. I was ready, but I had to keep pushing back the start time because I couldn't find my phone. It was a situation. Anyways, to the sleep shopping, I do that. It's a thing that I do. And I'm not mad about this particular purchase. I do love mugs. I do love coffee. And this is the mug of the stream. Yeah, take a good gander. Take a good gander at the mug of the stream. All right. So now that I've gotten things moving, I've gotten things started. I took notes. Oh my God, this is the wrong notepad. No, this isn't the right notepad. Panda Sutra for real. Give me just a second. I can't believe it. I thought that I had sense. I don't have any sense. I have too many notepads. Kay, welcome and thank you. I think there's some way that I'm supposed to be allowed to do this, to like gift some subscriptions. And I have not figured out how to do that. Like I'm trying to figure out, like I have polls that I can start, but it says that I'm supposed to be able to do that. I have not figured that out yet. When I figure it out, I will definitely try to do that in one stream. Give me a second to go and grab. Don't look at, listen, also, just side note, I am fully convinced that everyone who bought LuLaRoe leggings was either a Southern lady, all right, somebody in the South, love their leggings, or autistic people. Do with that what you will. I'm going to throw on the music right quick while I go and grab the actual notes because I saw it and I was like, oh, I have my notepad. It turns out that's not the correct notepad, Please don't cancel me yet. Not not quite yet. Faster than I thought. Faster than I thought. This is the correct notepad, all right? I got this, I feel like in a horror box or something. It no longer exists. So, yes, that's it, Kiara. The irony that it is so difficult to force pandas to reproduce. Also, like, here's the thing about pandas, they don't wanna be here. Just before we even I know, listen, I have ADHD, let me live my life. Pandas don't wanna be here, and I really feel like we need to tell the people to stop trying to make them because they weren't the reason that we have them in captivity isn't just because of hunting, it's because they weren't doing the deed and making more pandas in the wild. Like, they weren't even doing it out there. They were like, "Nah, fam, I'm cool. I'm just gonna eat, fall out of trees and stuff. It's chill. Like, what's even the point?" So, to pandas are true ace queens. Like, they didn't even wanna be here. They're like, "No, we're good," but we just keep forcing them to exist, so that's where we are. Anyways, um, I just feel bad for them. The pandas are ace icons for real. So today's stream, starting at 8:47 for anybody who's counting. I mean, the stream started as soon as I showed up, but I know people like to get into the beans and the meats and whatever it is that we say for a meal that you're really wanting to get into. I want to get into the mac and cheese, so let's get into the mac and cheese of the stream, which is where have all the Black beauty creators gone? Where have all Okay, I'm done. So I took a page from um I cannot remember her name right now. And it just it was like right there and and anyways, I took a page from her. I've mentioned her before. So we're going to do this in parts. These are the parts that I've written down. We may go beyond that. We will also this is a good discussion. 1:10 p.m. in the Bronx. I have like literally if I ever went to New York, like I just want to go to the Bronx. You know what I mean? Like, I don't wanna go to New York City. I wanna go to the Bronx. Like, that's where I wanna go. I feel like that would be most fun for me and what I enjoy in life. Like, I think that I would find it more enjoyable to be in the Bronx, you know? Because like, if I just randomly start yelling, they won't be upset by this, right? Like, yesterday, I got off work, there were a bunch of seagulls on my post office, like, they were just up there, like, on the top, bunches of them. And I, in my great wisdom, yelled up to them, "Hey, what up, gulls? Go, 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 go!" Like that. Okay, there we are. So I just want to throw that out there. Anyways, we're going to do this in parts. So part one is going to be the rise and importance of the Black beauty content creator. Part two is going to be inequity in the financial sense. Part three is going to be inequity in the brand's sense. Part four is going to be the abuse. And part five is going to be leaving beauty behind. There might be a part six, depending on how long this stream goes. I don't want to keep y'all here forever, but also, like, who even cares? Like, I haven't been here in a while. So if it's 2 hours, it's 2 hours. You know what I'm saying? If you're listening, thanks. Um, but explaining things to neurotypical people is the bane of my existence. Thank you. You're missing the whole panda thing. Dark Angel, it's the mug. It's the mug that I sleep shop and I bought this mug. For anyone who can't see it or is just listening, if you're visually impaired and you're just listening, it is a mug of pandas in various stages of doing it and doing it and doing it well. And that's that. I speak in song. You're welcome. So, Wampum Panda style. So, part one, the rise and importance of the Black beauty creator and why this became really important. So, for a long time, like as somebody who obviously enjoys makeup and beauty, we did not have representation to help us to figure out how to put on makeup, how to apply makeup properly, because one, our facial structures, just generally as a Black person, is often completely different than that of a white person. So even things like highlighter, like I remember I used to watch Raw Beauty Christie, whom I don't watch anymore for reasons, Um, but seeing where they would apply their highlighter and then you would try to do the same thing and you would have this like weird stripe. I mean, I know everybody at one point had a strange stripe, but if you were Black, that stripe was even more prominent because the placement wasn't the same. You couldn't figure out what you were doing wrong when you were trying to follow these beauty creators who were trying to show you like, oh, you put it here, this is how you do that, this is how you do this, and you were like, oh, okay. So like now where my highlighter is, it's always at the top of apple of my cheek because that's actually where my cheekbone is. It's like if you don't hit me, but if you were to punch it, that would hurt, right? Obviously, you can't hit me through the screen, but I digress. But like that is my actual cheekbone. That's where it starts. And then I like kind of go up here. But the way that a lot of white beauty content creators put it on was not the same. And where they put it wasn't the same. And you were like doing it, and you're just like, I can't understand why I look monstrous and they look great. So when you had creators like Jackie Aina and Alyssa Ashley and Nima Tang rising up in the ranks of beauty, it was, I can't tell y'all like the importance of that for Black people who loved makeup and beauty. Because number one, we were finally able to see see ourselves, see people doing makeup who look like us, who had the same skin tone, or deeper. But we were also able to see which brands and products like were for us as well. So we had this ability to figure out how to actually apply our makeup so that it fit our faces correctly. How different it is in undertones, like you would figure out why a foundation didn't look good on you because you had Black creators out there saying like, oh yeah, a lot of them are using a red undertone, that's why you look like a pumpkin. Right? Like you didn't know that before, but you had to find out. And it was very frustrating because especially when everybody started moving over to liquid instead of powder, because like powder was pretty easy to figure out in my opinion. Powder foundation was super easy to figure out because you were just like, yep, that looks good. But liquid foundation can oxidize. And once it settles, it can turn, a multitude of colors, none of which are the one that you thought that you bought. and and then there were other things like even down to how because Dark Angel's mentioning that Robert was the one that made it make sense, put it where the light hits. Exactly. And the concealer situation, a lot of people did not really understand. So if you follow drag, one of the big reasons that that big triangle exists, I'm putting an S on it because people still do it today and these are the reasons why, is because a lot of Black people in general tend to have some deeper hereditary lines here. Our sockets are a little further back. So we have this like deep hereditary line here. And if you're talking about drag, what you were trying to do is pull the deepest part of your face, which is like this part here, forward. You're trying to boppity boop. And if you are a man, you're doing drag, then this is going to be even deeper and more pronounced. So the whole point of that triangle was not just concealing, it was actually creating the forward motion of your face. It was like sculpting your face into a more feminine or fun shape. And that's the point of that, right? When you're Black and you're following white content creators, and you can see why that's messy as shit. We can all see why it was messy because, like, if you didn't need all of that, then there was no reason for you to do that. But me, I will often pull my concealer down pretty far because, like, I'm trying to fix all the way down here. You see what I'm saying? Because you can see where this line is. Boop. I'm trying to pull from here all the way up here a little bit more forward and have it be less pronounced. So the triangle still exists for a reason and it's still a good thing. But you would have a lot of white creators who would be like, oh, that's so ridiculous. Can't believe we're doing that. And you're like, I'm still doing it because I still have this problem. So it was stuff like that, like being able to see creators who look like us explaining how we should be able to like do our makeup and why we're doing it that way. Obviously, you can do your makeup however you want to. And as Robert says, there are no rules, but there is a theory. So being able to see all of these people come up in the ranks and really look like us, show us what products we could use, show us what eyeshadow palettes did not work for us, right? Because the amount of times that you'd be excited about an eyeshadow palette and you'd get it and you'd be like, want, want. Like a lot of Urban Decay palettes were like that for me. I would get them and just be like, wah, wah, wah. Like I was so depressed. I wonder if that works if I push it. Let me see. Kinda. Anyways, but the main point was that we had this whole rise happen. It was really, really important for us to see. UD was dusty as shit. UD like had this like people were like, oh my god, Urban Decay. It was glorious to be able to see Black creators really show us how these palettes actually looked on us because everybody would be coveting a palette. We would get one and be like, oh no, oh no, this is I mean, if you want everything to be taupe, that's fine. Live your taupe dreams. But like for the rest of us, we were like, no, I need some kind of color. Even the browns weren't brown enough, weren't deep enough to give us some love. And I think that having creators of color out there, specifically Black creators out there pointing these things out was really, really important. It helped brands to start paying more attention to us. So that was cool too. But also, we have the whole Tarte debacle, which was a situation in and of itself. And to this day, I still think that they did it on purpose because there's nothing that does better for marketing than outrage marketing. Like every time, outrage marketing is going to kill it 100%. So we're watching all of these creators rise and get big and start making that money off of YouTube, which then brings me into part two, the inequity, the financial inequity. So, as a Black beauty content creator, I'm not, I was. But what I would say for a lot of Black content beauty creators, if you put all things equal, you have the same amount of subscribers, you both create. Oh, what is that? Something just fell out. I'm like, my little ball fell. I'll come back to it some other time. I'm like, wow, embarrassing. We'll fix that later, or we'll just take them out. Who cares? It's like, we'll put a different one in. It'll be fine. But if everything's the same amount of subscribers, same amount of views, same type of content, the only thing different is the color of your skin. And the thing about that being the difference and the color of your skin being the difference is that there were a lot of financial inequities there. So you would very consistently, as a Black creator or somebody who watches that content, I'm going to do this right quick, see uh, that that a white creator would be getting all of these deals and all of these sponsorships, whereas you as a Black content creator weren't getting them. And as a viewer, you would see this as well. We still continue to see it to this day, where you would watch a content creator and be like, wow, how come they're not getting the same flowers? And it's fairly easy, right? Like, oh, did I do it? I did it. Look at me winning. Picture me rolling. But you would be in the situation where you would very consistently see that white creators got collabs all the time. They got tons and tons of collabs, tons and tons of sponsorships. Meanwhile, a lot of the Black content creators were just like running around for scraps, trying their best to get quite literally anything that they could get. And on top of that, you would also see that if a Black creator made the same kind of mistake as a white creator, the responses were completely different, right? Jaclyn Hill is a prime example, Jalopity Staircase, James Big Ass Charles. Like, these people have been able to continue doing whatever it is they do that's not good, mostly awful, and continue to create content and have huge followings. But if a Black content creator in the same beauty space did anything near what they did, they wouldn't even be here today, to be honest. Like, they would have had to just like skulk off into the shadows, be like, bye. Thank you, Cecily. So what ends up happening is a lot of these Black content creators are sitting there kind of watching these inequities just continue. Like Dark Angel's bringing up with the brand trips, you would very consistently see that these brand trips were mostly white, and like the one or two Black content creators that were big creators. And I need to say this and make this make sense as well as I can with the way that my mouth is not trying to work with me today. If a brand invites Jackie Aina and Alyssa Ashley as their only black people there, they're big. They at the time they were like huge content creators, right? The problem that you're seeing is that white content creators would have large, mid, and some smaller creators that would make it to a brand trip. And you would not see this with black content creators. It was literally the bigs and that's it. Like that's it. They weren't inviting, a mid-tier creator. It was not you very rarely got to see, and specifically a deep-skinned creator who was like mid-tier showing up. You would see somebody who had 25,000 subscribers and they were going on a brand trip with Tarte and you're like, that doesn't make any sense. How does this trip only have 2 black content creators? That doesn't make any sense. There's definitely more than 2 black content creators in the beauty sphere. And we all knew that, right? So as a content creator in this space, you would see this inequity and it would really start making you upset. And nobody wants to create content being upset. And it's worse when your subscribers, well-meaning subscribers coming out and being like, "Oh my god, you should have, I don't know why you're not at 5 million, subscribers yet. I don't know why." And you're like, "Oh, I know why." But you have to try to be gracious and be like, "I'm happy with what I've got." And then that brings us to part 3, the brand inequity. So the brands in and of themselves are already like not creating enough products for deep skin. And so that puts a lot of black content creators in the realm of having to be the shade range police, and nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to do it. If you're trying to create beauty content, the amount of brands that don't make shit for you is frustrating. If you want to focus on luxury, there's a lot of brands that you can't even talk about. Right? Like every time they have a launch, you can't really mess with that because they don't have anything for you. They have a foundation launch, you may not be able to talk about it. And even if you can, you would be like me, whereas a former content creator, like right now I'm wearing the Prada foundation because they had a shade for me. But truly they don't have enough shades for everybody and not people who are a lot darker than me. So so then if I'm creating content, it makes me a hypocrite. I feel terrible because I know that there are people who cannot wear that foundation. And then I'm stuck in this position of, well, do I not talk about it because of the fact that there are so many other black people who can't wear this, or do people still want the review? And you're always like teetering this thing because at the same time, you just talked about another brand that doesn't have a good shade range. And being the shade range police is already nightmarish. On top of that, all of the eyeshadow palettes that really like a lot of the neutral palettes that really weren't neutral for us, like that one particular light cream shade that everybody would be like, I'm going to go in with my transition shade. And I'm like, babes, that's white on my face. First of all, like, that's not a good transition. Yeah. Like, it's not cute. Yeah. Angela's bringing up the physician's formula at this point. It's on purpose. Yes. Yes. And yes. Emma yes says the algorithm is so steep against black content creators. Like you watch a white makeup creator and they get floods of white makeup content suggestions. Yes. And yes, this is part of the brands. From a viewer perspective, there was probably an inequity in PR because brands lack of color diversity. Yes. And also because their pigmentation was not deep enough. Like today, I am wearing this isn't sponsored. It's not, I didn't get NPR. I bought it. This is DD Signatures, like little four piece, the Plum Perfection. I'm wearing this kind of all over my face. So cute. It's living its best life. It's a good time, and that's the thing is, as a content creator, it started pushing a lot of us who came in, and I'm going to grab honeybees, who came into the beauty space to figure out a place where we could belong, right? Because as you're moving along, the brands aren't making shit for you. Like brands like Chantecaille, just they'll keep saying like, "Oh, we need black content creators," but they didn't actually want that. It was just lip service. They would just say that. They didn't want us. They just wanted to say it so it seemed like they were going to do something. I was like, "Bitch, don't lie." But Honeybee V brought up the price of entry for white creators is significantly lower, and it's obvious just seeing the lineups of those trips or parties. Yes. Um, because I've noticed it quite a bit. Quite a bit I noticed it. I would very often look and be like, "How is it that me and this person, I'm, you know, same shit. We're getting the same views. We have approximately the same amount of subscribers. How are they getting sponsored content? How are they getting so much more PR?" And when you have all of this iniquity, financial and brand wise, you can become a bitter ass content creator. And that is not what you wanted because the first and foremost, we start this, anybody who's creating content, the majority, I'm not going to say all, we create it because we want people to see it. Okay, that's the whole point. Like I do this because I enjoy it and I want people to see it. But when I'm making beauty content, comparison as many as somebody said a long time ago, I don't know who it was, the actual but comparison is the thief of joy, right? When you're comparing yourself, it just sucks all the joy out of the game. The problem is when you're doing this, it gets more and more difficult to not get bitter and to not have these comparison issues because you're in the same field and you're watching people who make the same kind of content as you get sponsorships, get collabs. Like I can currently count probably on this one hand how many deep skin creators have gotten a words have gotten a collab. Collab is like not wanting to work with me today. I'm just like we we're not represented in the world of collabs and sponsorships when it comes to beauty. We're just like out here trying our best. And that barrier to entry that I think it was Honey was talking about, we have to be so exceptional, so top tier, minding all of our P's and Q's, not being dismissive of any brand at any point in time, that it makes creating the content not fun because you have all of these things stacked against you. And at some point, the joy of creating beauty content starts to escape you because again, you don't want to be somebody who's comparing, you don't want to be bitter, but that's how you end up coming across when you are starting to get upset about people being like, "Oh, I can't wait to see what you have to say about this shade range." Like, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to. I know that it's bad. And also some of y'all again don't know what shade range is versus shade variety because like we honestly need to like separate the two because if you have a launch and it's 5 light, 5 medium, 5 deep and 5 dark, that's actually a good shade range. It's not a good shade variety, but it's a good shade range because it's equal. It's equal amongst the entirety of the thing. A bad shade range is one that has like 13 light, 14 medium, and then like 5 deep dark shades. That is a terrible shade range. Shade range because they don't even have variety and they don't have a range. It's not equal. So yes, this is what actually inspired this, Kiara. This video was actually like me doing the stream was actually inspired by Kimberly for Harriet because I was listening to her talk about the lie of black excellence. And this is all where we come from. The idea that you should just keep pushing forward, you should just keep trying. And here's what I'm going to say. For me, I quit because I was like, as much as I love makeup, I don't want to be in a space where I'm not wanted. I just don't want to. I'm not going to keep shoving and pushing and trying so hard to be somewhere that I'm not wanted. And that doesn't include obviously the people here who come and watch my videos and all that stuff. It just means like I know how the algorithm works. And this is what people mean when they're talking about the algorithm because let me go see here. Jana, I'm gonna borrow Jana here. When I first started watching beauty YouTube around 2019, I had to actively curate my channel to find POC channels. Had no issue with lots of white creators everywhere, and this is the crux of the issue. Okay, I'm gonna bring this into the abuse because the algorithm. This is part 4. The abuse. The algorithm is part of that abuse. Okay, not only do Black beauty content creators endure loads and loads of abuse from people just making nasty comments about them just for existing as a Black person, but they are abused by the algorithm very regularly. I know this because I tested it on multiple occasions, as I'm sure anybody who follows Black content creators just generally has done, where you go in, you watch a content creator, like a Black creator's video, whether it be beauty or anything, but like you go in, you watch Jackie Ina show you the ABH palette or whatever, and you're like, yay, your expectation is that up next for you would be other Black content creators. That's what you would expect because you're clearly showing this is what I need. Instead, what you got was suggestions for other white content creators, which good, I guess, but I'm here because I'm trying to see what stuff looks like on my skin tone. And if you say that, like I just did, then you have the people who don't see color who then begin to tell you like, well, if you don't like it, you can just like find other, you have to do that. There's nothing wrong with the algorithm. And I'm like, of course you would say that because there's nothing wrong with yours. Yours is filled with white content creators, which is what you're very consistently watching. There's definitely something wrong with mine when I'm choosing to see Black people and people of color, people with melanin in their skin tone. And the algorithm consistently tries to push me back into the white algorithm. That when people like me are talking about the algorithm being an evil mistress, this is what we mean. That's why when white people will sit there and go, there's nothing wrong with the algorithm. Mine's fine. I'm like, babes, you are the majority. Not really. Like, you are the target audience, I guess. I'm not saying that to be rude. I'm just saying, like, Black and brown people are the global majority. Anyways, yours looks fine because you are the target. Your algorithm looks great because you are the target. So it's going to feed you all the white content that you can absorb. But if you are a white person who wants to diversify, it's very difficult for you. Like if you are white and you're like, I want to see people of color, especially like, listen, all my cyber goths out there and a lot of my goth people, a lot of them like to watch beauty content creators who are reviewing pigmented eyeshadow palettes because a lot of cyber goths and goths in general like to know that it's actually pigmented, and a place for them to know for sure that an eyeshadow palette is pigmented is people of color, people with melanin. It's people like me. So they know. They're like, is this like a good pink or a bad pink? Is this really red or is it fake red? Let me go find out. So you go over there and you hang out and you see someone like me, and then you find out like, oh, it's barely showing up. And they're Black. It's not going to look great on me. Jana over here. Exactly. I'm white, and curating that was actively difficult, and I still have to force the issue. You do. And the YouTube algorithm abuses the way in which the viewer wants to see content, and it abuses how it very consistently puts Black creators on the back burner every single time. So you're getting abused by the algorithm. You're having to deal with people make nasty comments about, like, if you say something about shade range, you have the plethora of people who are going to come and tell you, they'll bring up brands that are not even exclusively Black, but they make products for Black people. And then they'll do their thing where they're like, well, oh, my beauty exists. It doesn't anymore, but oh, my beauty exists. And you're like, babes, it's apples and oranges. You're comparing a situation in which a brand exists because we did not actively have foundation shades and blush and bronzer for our skin. And you're now trying to act like I'm a jerk because I'm saying this. Like, everybody gets really excited about Fenty. We're going to go backwards into brands. And Fenty did the damn thing with creating all those shades. But one of the dark secrets about Fenty that people don't like to talk about, not everybody, but some, is that like the undertones on a lot of that was off. And me, as a recently discovered deep skinned, olive undertoned cutie, almost all of Fenty's neutral, especially neutral shades, I look like I'm casket ready every single time. Casket ready. It turns gray on my skin. Like, I look gray, ill even. Uh, and so you have to like really actively be curating your feed on YouTube to regularly be able to see Black content creators focused on beauty. And what that ends up doing is pushing more and more Black content creators into more niche beauty sections. So, for instance, indie beauty is the biggest one. And the reason for that is one, indie beauty tends to be the most pigmented. Let's be real. Let's be real, pigmentation out of this world. A lot of times you're getting from indie. Like you go over there, you're like, You can wear the purples, you can wear the greens, you can wear the pinks, you can wear the reds. Yellow looks yellow, orange looks orange. You are looking good. And it's a nice place to go, whether you want to be a sparkly peacock or just like, like mid, like a little chill, like a little relaxed. You can still go over there, get a little sparkle, get a little sheen, get a little shine. But also, this is a space where deep skinned and Black creators are more likely to even get any shine or any PR, any recognition from brands. So that is where we are. And yes, Emma, 100%. I might watch 5 to 6 videos in a day with Black creators. I watch one video of a 4-minute clip from a TV show. Guess what the algorithm bombards me with? And it ain't the creators. 100%. Like the notifications that Cecily was talking about, like you're not getting notified. That's the eavesdrop is what really finally pushed it over the edge for me with Fenty. Is I was just like, I can't. None of their stuff, like it looks good when I put it on. But about an hour later, I look like I have risen. I'm looking like Beetlejuice, and I don't like that. Not the now deceased little guy that was on Howard Stern, but like Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice. Um, don't know why I felt like I had to rectify that. We're just gonna leave me alone. But the other thing too that people forget is that what like as amazing as Fenty's drop was, it created this weird problem where brands just thought that all they needed to do was have 100 shades. And no, that wasn't what we needed. We didn't, and we still don't. We don't need y'all to have 100 shades. Brands, hello, hi, my name is Audra. This is some free advice for you, because it's not like you were going to pay me anyway. Anyway, it's not. It's not the amount of shades. It's the undertones. We need a light cool, light neutral. You know, like we need all light cool, light neutral, light warm. That's all we need. We needed to do that for all of them. We don't need 1,000 with a weird pink undertone. That's helping none of us. We just need you to, and none of it has to be a perfect match, by the way, because most of us can work with it. If it's like half a step out, we can work with that. We're fine. What we're asking for in 2024 is for y'all to understand what the fucking undertone is and help us out, bitch. Thank you. Um, yeah, and here's the thing. I think what happened is I feel like a lot of people hit dogs will holler, right? And a lot of people would get very, very upset if you mention the algorithm, if you mention the fact that, hey, when I'm talking back about the abuse, if you mention the fact that, like, hey, a lot of people aren't watching them. And the response was often like, I shouldn't have to watch Black creators if I don't want to, which nobody was saying that you had to. But a lot of people would also say things like, well, they have deep skin and that's not me. And I'm like, that's real funny because black people for a very long time have had to learn in a world filled with white people. And for the most part, we did okay. We didn't because we didn't have a choice. So we just made do. You have choices and you're choosing not to. Not saying you have to. I'm not saying you have to. I'm saying you could learn a lot. Just saying. When the door is open and everybody can come in and take a peek, why wouldn't you take a peek? It's like being, in a sexy dungeon club. You know what I mean? Why wouldn't you just look in every room? Why are you just going to go to the one room with that one thing you like and be like, that's fine? Aren't you curious? Anyways, that was a weird analogy. Let's just move away from that. So that brings us to like the final part of this, which we're gonna just like chat back and forth now after I'm done doing this. But what has happened is that most of these Black beauty content creators have moved out of the beauty space. There's multiple reasons for that, but the number one is that you're far more likely to get sponsorships when you are not in the beauty space. And even funnier, you're even more likely to get sponsored by beauty brands outside of being in the beauty space. And if you don't believe me, just go look at Jackie Aina stuff. Go look at like a lot of people who just do lifestyle. Jackie Aina moved into lifestyle. What's her face? Patricia Bright. She's doing like financial wizard stuff, which is not my cup of tea. Good for you, girl. I stopped watching years ago. But what ends up happening is that Black beauty like content creators they're still wearing makeup. They're still having a good time doing looks. They're still posting looks in a lot of places, but they're not doing the content anymore. Because again, why would you want to be in a space that you're not wanted? Why are you going to like scratch and claw to a top you're never going to get to? It's not just about the money, right? You don't want to become this bitter bitch, angry and yelling and being upset about all the different things. And as Jackie Aina once famously said, like being the attack dog. We don't want that. I just want to also be able to enjoy makeup and play with it. Sometimes I don't want to go on with the whole fucking history of all the bullshit that this brand did. Like sometimes I just want to put some makeup on my face. I just want to be like, oh, yay, right? Like I don't want to do all of that. Um, Angela, funny how people become toddlers when you point out the inequity or ask them to get even a little out of their comfort zone. It really is it because here's the thing that I very regularly have to say is even on TikTok I do this. If you're white, I I like your content. I just can't like your content. Like I can't hit the like button. I can't hit the heart. I can't subscribe. It will ruin my algorithm every single time. Like the Basement Yard and Shits and Gigs are the same podcast, but one's just Black British guys and one's two white guys from New York, right? I'm only subscribed to Shits and Gigs because if I subscribe to the Basement Yard, it will ruin my feed. And that is a big reason why so many Black content creators have moved over into lifestyle. They do commentary, they talk about movies, television. I think Kenny JD used to do beauty, slid away from that. I can't remember her name now, but I am subscribed to her. She used to do beauty. There's tons and tons of people of color who just left. Now, there are still some doing it because just for the love of it, they don't expect this to be a job, and that's fine. I don't either. Yes, please hit the like button if you would. But because I don't think I want this to be a job for me personally. Like, there's a part of me that's like, yes, but then there's the other part of me that's like, that seems frightening. I don't know how you survive doing it like that, love. So Emma V75 says, it's almost like the odd one or two Black beauty creators were allowed to flourish, but any more than that was unacceptable. Like acceptable in small doses for sponsorship, etc. That's exactly it. There's from a corporate standpoint, there's generally only room for one Black creator, maybe two if they're feeling generous. T Fuller, hold on. Am white years back. I ravenously consumed makeup content, did watch Alyssa Ashley, but got no Black recommendations. I didn't know when the ABH Jackie Aina palette came out who she was. That part. And I just want to say, I don't think people understand to this day the impact of that palette. It's why I will never get rid of it. Even if I can never use, even if it goes to dust, I'm going to keep that palette because that palette represented to me a wonderful time where a Black content creator was recognized by, we didn't know they were nasty at the time. We didn't know that. But at the time, ABH was one of the top internet brands because I feel like that's what it is now. But it was one of the top brands, right? Everybody waited, and if you got a collab with ABH. It was like, holy shit, you've made it, right? And they paid it dust. They didn't take care of it. But the amount of white content creators who complained about the pigment, it's the same thing happening now with the Juvia's Place. Oop, and I forgot this in the brands. It's the same thing with the Juvia's Place, but we're seeing it. If you've seen it on TikTok, we have white creators talking about how it's too pigmented. And I'm like, bitch, it's not for you. No offense, bitch, in the colloquial sense. I'm not calling you a bitch. I'm just colloquial. It's the colloquial bitch. So, but that was a moment. We had, for once, a huge brand not only collabing with a Black content creator, but a deep-skinned Black content creator. It wasn't an LBAW. If you know, you know. I'm not going to explain it. It wasn't an LBAW. It was a deep-skinned Black woman. The absolute joy we got from like knowing all those shades were going to work on us, all of them were going to look good. We were like, yes. Cause like it's very hard for us to get any form of a collab at all. Too much mouth, yes. Cause too much mouth is the business. First of all, she serves body. Some of y'all, I can't be following y'all on Instagram because some of y'all are yes, Feffy. Right there. No, that oh no, Lucifer. Not a straight dude. First of all, and I'm sorry about the red pill situation. That's always so painful. I like that they always have that weird music on the background when they're like talking about like, and so it's like, dun, fellas, dun, dun, dun. Are you tired of these evil, nasty, horrible, disgusting, decrepit women trying to tell you what to do? Do you have no job, no money, and you live in your mom's basement? There's nothing wrong with living with your mom, honestly, if you're trying to like get your life together, but also you live there because you're a piece of shit. You don't have any hopes or dreams. Buy my course. Okay, so sorry. Anyways, Kenny used to do beauty, but bad movie reviews is what got her better opportunities. And that's where we are now. I think that when we move forward, like where are we're moving to? I'm not saying that Black people aren't going to be in the beauty space. I'm saying that Black people will not be making beauty the number one priority of their content. I think that they will look fantastic and fabulous in a video, right? They will have the items listed in the description box, but they're not going to be doing the content that revolves around beauty. I personally didn't like doing it because there's a thing where like you have friends, right? I don't want to feel like I have to get a leg up from my friends in that space. I don't want to feel like I have to do beauty collabs and whatnot with them in order for me to get like even just like a glance my way. I also find that because I don't do beauty content anymore, I pop up in my algorithm more. Also, if I'm going to be perfectly honest, my top videos aren't beauty. On this channel, my top videos are not beauty videos. One of them is like a Lume. One of them is a skincare video. One of them is about me not wanting to get married. And the other one is the one I think I did on Michaela. Oh gosh, I love this. Let me see. I had to stop watching Jackie around the time she started temping at Bobby Brown, but I always said she should have every opportunity other creators have. Yeah. Like I stopped watching her a long time ago. Varying reasons. But I did miss the song. I think when she got rid of the song, I was like, that's the whole reason I come here. Jackie, 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 Jackie. I loved it. And then people got shitty about the song. That's making me mad. Yeah, it is. Listen. Oh my God. I don't know if that's you or if that's just a photo, but it's glorious. And I am impressed. Also, don't be mad at me if I don't know. Like I don't know what happens in the world because I like the things that I like. Life is even harder if you're Black and have an olive undertone. It's getting better, but still, hell yeah. Rare Beauty blush is heavily pigmented in its own way. White creators did not complain about it. Juvia's Place is an even more pigmented formula, and now it's a problem. Thanks, I hate it. I do too. Like it was just it's just a weird situation. And my favorite thing about the creator who was like making such a big stink about it was the amount of Black content creators who didn't say a word. They stitched it. This was on TikTok. They literally stitched it and said nothing while applying it, and it looked great. And then they would just go, and that would be the end. I think you see a lot of Black content creators like doing beauty on TikTok, very specifically because on TikTok you get to choose your algorithm, and you can, for the most part, it is getting a little dicey over there, but you get to choose your algorithm. So I don't have to, and that's why I keep saying it. I know people get pissy sometimes, but I am very deliberately stay away from any white beauty content. If I have to, I'm sorry. If you're on TikTok and you're doing beauty, I'm sorry. You're beautiful. I can't like it. I could be like, oh, sometimes I'll hit the heart and then take it back. So if you ever see that if you're on TikTok and you ever see that, that's me. Sorry. I can't keep the like. I can't keep it. Oh my God, you just found Cat Black? I love Cat Black. One of my favorite videos that she has done is when she was talking about Dave Chappelle and his comedy specials. Black has also led me to another trans creator, and both of them kind of have I've watched one of them is white, which if you're white and you're trans, I can watch it. It doesn't fuck my shit up. And the reason it doesn't is because you're trans, and trans is the main defining factor for you to try to push you on the back burner. So I'm still winning. If you're like one of the marginalized crews, I'm still winning. Uh because oh yeah, I did see that Tina had that. I did see that. I love me some Tina. Like Tina's honestly one of my favorite people. Listen, the way that they kept trying to convince us, like NARS and Hourglass, like, do I still like their concealer? Yes. I know people get in their little feel. I still like NARS's, or excuse me, Hourglass's Vanish concealer. That shit is the tits. And you will never convince me otherwise. It's so good. It's like my two favorite concealers are that one and the Huda Beauty. Like these are my two, like honestly, it used to be Pat McGrath. This one is taken over for my Pat McGrath. I love these. There's not any links for any of this stuff. Oh, Cameron, not getting the Jackie ABH palette when I first got into makeup. Listen, I feel like that was just one of my first palettes that I purchased. It was because the first two palettes I bought that didn't come from a beauty box, I remember this very clearly, was the Colored Rain. You know the one? You know what I'm talking about. It's like leaving my brains. But the Colored Rain palette is the pigments and the Jackie Anna ABH collab. That's it. Those are the first two that I got. Ooh, and I did get Queen of Hearts as well. Yeah. Yes, it was Queen of Hearts. It was Queen of Hearts. Show you right. And I have both and I won't let them go. I was like, I remember this very clearly. Just kidding. I have ADHD. My favorite thing to do as a person with ADHD is to tell people I clearly remember something and then forget instantly what it was I clearly remembered. You're welcome. But yeah, up until that point, I was getting everything in beauty boxes. And baby, when I tell you taupe was taupe, so like what we're gonna keep seeing is more and more Black content creators moving out of the beauty space if they're not already moved out. And you're gonna get more, there's just more opportunities. Since Jackie Aina, when like I guarantee you this, if you pay attention to where Jackie Aina is now over on TikTok and doing like the whole lifestyle thing, far more opportunities than I ever saw her get on her channel. And I don't mean that to be funny. I mean that because like she is working with like luxury brands and shit regularly, all the time. That she was not getting that over on her channel. But like Tina is the business, and the only reason, like, obviously Tina is very successful, gorgeous, beautiful, wonderful, fantastic, love her, would like to meet her in person at some point in time. But her the way it took her so long to get to even 100K, because Tina was too honest. She was so honest. And the thing is, you can't be like honest and black. You just can't be, because everybody perceives you as having an attitude. But if you're white and you're like, I'm just being honest. If you're white and you're like, "Ah, it's butt shit," then you win. Oh, that was like, that was untoward. That was untoward. Unnecessary. I don't know. I haven't heard, like, I've been wanting to try the house concealer, but I just need to stop buying concealer because I can't stop buying foundation. I'm like, I can't stop buying foundation. I can't do it. You're not gonna make me do it. I'm rubbing my legs because it's making me feel comfortable and confident. I'm sorry if you can hear it. It's a picture. Okay, hold on. Tracks. P.S. It's a picture made by who is a graphic designer. You're right about recommendations. I have to keep searching for brown skin, dark skin swatches, and I don't get that. Yeah. Because, like, even the indie brands, you still have this situation of having to kind of battle with them to even get them to do swatches on deep skin, which I cannot fathom why. Because, like, I can't understand how you would not realize that swatches on my skin tone are glorious. Like, listen, I'm gonna pull this little, oh Jesus. I always get like a Cleona-gasm whenever I grab one of my Cleona shadows. But like, this is the shadow, right? Like, how are you gonna tell me that that is not like just so much more glorious than, I can't figure out where my face is. So much more glorious. Like, on skin this shit, like, it is the reflections. What do you mean you don't have deep skin? Pay. And that's the other thing. They always want us to pay for free. They always want us to pay for free or like do things for free. Every time you turn around, Black content creators are very regularly just being asked to do shit for free. And we're like, I hate to be the one to tell you this, love, but your eyeshadow palette is not going to pay my bills. No, it's fine. I understood. This is why I'm an angry Latina lawyer. Have a different opinion or speak up. You're an angry woman. So here I am in all my angry glory. Hell yeah. Like, that's the thing that started just destroying my spirit. Is it's just, you're out here, and again, for me personally, what I will tell you as someone who formerly did beauty content is didn't like to feel like any of my friendships were based on them having to hype me up so that I could get some love on my channel. I did not like looking over and starting to get bitter and angry and irritated, being like, how can we have the same amount of shit going on and yet I'm just getting paid dust? Because as Kimberly said in her video, which I will try to remember to link that in the description box, but as a Black person, you have to be prepared to work hard and still get nothing. And I was like, I don't think that I want to keep working in this avenue here and keep getting nothing, because I will just quit creating content, period. Like, I want to create content because I enjoy it and because I want people to see it. I cannot create that content if I'm a bitter bitch the whole time. If every time I turn around, it's one of the reasons why, even though I love new makeup nonsense bingo, why I had to stop doing it. Because I was like, I'm getting angry. Like, I'm getting drunk and I'm getting mad. Like, I'm legitimately getting like angrier and angrier, just being like, what the fuck is this dusty ass bitch? Like, losing my mind. I don't want to be that person. Also, if I'm going to be honest, like a lot of people in this space aren't awesome. Like, a lot of people in this space are just like, no, I'm good, babes. They just turn out to not be awesome people. So, like, I didn't want to become, angry and bitter and comparing and always looking at the person next to me, because that's going to make me not want to create the content I want to create. And I like to talk. I like to chit chat. I like to have a good time. And I figured, since I like to chat and have a good time, and since realistically my top videos even before the Michaela video, weren't really beauty videos in that sense. I was like, people prefer to hang out and chat with me. So that's what I'm going to do. I like that too. It's actually really gotten like as the more that I have, because I wasn't great at masking, but now it's just like full on mask off, not in that creepy, scary way, but in like a neurodivergent way. So it's really hard for me to put on makeup and chat like I used to, like do get ready with me. Because one, I almost always forget half of my supplies, which is just like y'all saw that if you were here at the beginning. I forget shit and I'm like, oh, forgot that. But ooh, L'Oreal, I think makes one of my favorite skin tints, but it's not a skin tint. Almost listen, most drugstore skin tints are medium coverage foundations. I still get asked, yes, Sandra. I still get asked to unbox Black-owned beauty boxes, but I refuse now. They don't pay and don't like honesty. I'm not going to say something is nice if it's clearly rubbish, period. And that's the other thing. The other reason I also didn't want to do this is because as many brands, indie brands that are owned by people of color, by women of color, the amount of times that they don't use us to promote their stuff or they use us as a stepping stone to get to white creators is too high. It's too high. Again, bringing in Juvia's Place to that equation, but there's a lot of brands that do that. They will get somewhere off of the backs of a creator of color and then immediately abandon us. They'll use us for the marketing. Hey girl, are you looking for a fabulous, fantastic blush for your gorgeous cheekbones? Come on over. Like 100,000 times. But Marcy, hey, I just wanted to let you know, again, out loud, we will be having another movie night next week. We're going to watch Attack the Block. It'll be on Saturday around the same time. I don't think anybody's actually horrible at makeup. Um, but I I just think that what happens is if you realize and you pay attention to other Black creators who were in beauty and see how much better they're faring as soon as they quit doing beauty, that's the direction we're going. But I also don't really think anybody is bad at makeup. I think that um it is difficult to be able to figure out how to do things on your face if you don't know what you're looking for. That's really all it is. Like I just learned to do, lashes. Lashes finally stopped eluding me. I 2016. I've been trying to get that shit together. And and I just couldn't get it together, right? And finally, I think it was Kiss, magnetic lashes, and I started kind of figuring it out from there. Now I know how. A big part of it too is because like on the backs of a lot of them, they'll be like, make sure it fits, and they didn't really fully say like trim off the excess. They're like, make sure it fits. I'm like, what? But I think that a lot of people don't realize that, like, it's hard to find what you are looking for and get it all figured out because there's tons of different pieces of it, right? There's, like, how to do your base, which I'm a base queen because I very much feel like, it's called foundation for a reason. That was, like, my bread and butter for a little while. Like, I listen, people used to make fun of me, being like, next thing you know, you're gonna see Audra at the mouth of a volcano doing their foundation try-ons." Like, I used to do, like, a mad foundation try-on. So, like, I don't think that is how it happens, but it took a while for me to figure out how to do this because the videos for applying lashes were, like, super old. They were a long time ago. I wasn't gonna go look for them. My ADHD could never. I wasn't that interested in trying to figure out how to do it. I was like, "Nah. No, thank you." Yes. I mean, like, submitting yourself to things you know are going to rile you up, if you see what I mean, already make it, yeah, and that's the thing. I had to get into a space where I was like, "I like making this content. I enjoy it. I'm having a good time, and I want people to see it," is where I wanted to be. I did not wanna be in a space where, again, I knew I wasn't wanted and where I was going to very consistently be comparing myself to others, and I just didn't wanna be like that. Here, I don't compare myself to anybody, I'm just having a good time, we're chit-chatting, it's a good time. It's weird, that my subscriber count is going up. I don't know what to do about that. It's slightly uncomfortable and gives me a little bit of gas, but thank you again for those of you who have shown up. Oh, you have freckles? Skin tint. Bye-bye. Little skin tint, maybe a tinted sunscreen. Freckles are awesome. Amazing. Freckles are grand. Do you know how many people are, like, wandering around trying to put freckles on? They have, like, freckle filters with, like, the tons of the freckles. You're living the best life. Brisket and ribs. I thought you'd abandon this again after Robert shouted you out. Glad you're still streaming. I did actually. I was like, "Robert, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. You're such a good friend. You're a dandy." But, wow. I've gotta tell you, it was very stressful. It gave me oh, my god. I also feel like I know too much about celebrities. Like, I think celebrities need to stop talking to us, period. Just shut up. I know it's not nice, but it's true. I know that they're human beings, but just stop talking to us because we're not the same kind of humans. Um, I don't pull out my lashes generally, but it depends on how you remove your lashes. But I also use like the lash glue because the lashes have come leaps and bounds. That's the other thing. 'Cause, like, I was talking to Jen about this. Used to you had to have that little tube of Duo and you were, like, trying to, like, get glue on the edge of a lash, like, you had to do it that way and be like, and then try to apply it. Now there's, like, lash glue pens, and I use, like, a lash glue liner that's, like and I'm just like, um, so I don't have to but there was 2 things. It was learning to cut it, the way that they changed lash glue, and the third was waiting the requisite amount of time. I did not realize that because of how they were editing their videos, I didn't realize that these lash bitches were out there and they were like waiting 30 to 45 seconds, if not sometimes longer, before they put the lash on. Like, you put the glue on, then you go chill. Like, what I do is like I put the glue on and then I'll like do an eyebrow. Once my eyebrow's done, I'll be like, pop the lash on. And then I'll put the glue on the other side, do my other eyebrows. Sometimes if there's anything else, this look also is because we watched Deliver Us from Eva last night, and I was kind of recreating a little bit of that. So, listen, ensalada. Yeah. It's sad to see people like Jackie Aina or Alyssa Ashley or even yourself leaving the space, yet Jacqueline Hill and the whole squad of questionable influencers are still standing. Yeah, and they always will. They really always will. Because people just can't stop. And again, parasocial relationships are how they are. No hate to you if you have one, but like, because I have plenty. Listen, like, I think that I could hang out with the bros from Shits and Gigs. Like, I think I could hang out with them. We would laugh. Brother. And the amount of times that they say pause makes me laugh. But yeah, I use lash glue eyeliners, game change. Yes. Change the whole game. Like, I have one that's like the liquid, like the little liquid brush where you're like, that's the one I've been using. It's like extra sticky. Me and Bo are both like, because we're hearing a sound and it sounds like a child. Children. So I literally like now I only put them on for like streams and stuff, but it's nice to know that I know how to do them. I don't really like to wear them out in Texas, and that's just because it's windy as shit. And I just don't want the embarrassment of one of them leaving me behind. Cause it starts kind of waggling a little bit in the wind. It's like and I can't handle it. I can't deal with it. So yeah. If you're looking for where all the Black content create, they've moved to lifestyle, or they're on TikTok. There are still some on YouTube. Obviously, you have Beauty and the Frizz. Is that? I felt like I just made that up, but that's real. I was like, "Mhm." But yeah, they're just gonna be down there creating content. Um, and again, like I said, just to clarify one more time, it's not about whether or not you're getting free shit. It's not about whether or not you're getting paid. It's just that it's inequitable, and it should be equal kind of across the board, which is another problem with YouTube. Is just like generally YouTube makes it very difficult. No, sir. You're not going out there. But makes it very difficult for people to like do this and have fun doing it. I think we're also seeing, YouTube is dry, and we'll be talking about that at some point if I can get my notes together for it properly. We might chat about it a little bit today, but like I just need to be right back in a little bit. Like give me like 5 minutes because I got to figure out what's going on downstairs. Um because my auntie is here and I'm not sure why. So I don't mean that in a rude way. I'm just like I think that she's going out like looking at houses. So give me a moment to check on that. Go grab yourself some water or a drink, and we might do one like a quick react to a video. Who knows? We'll see. Or should I just go and then like play and then like do the video react on Tuesday? What do y'all think? Because YouTube been dry. I think we'll do it on Tuesday, and I'll figure out, and then I'm gonna just go play some Cyberpunk 2077, like the monster I am. The black lipstick, by the way, again, none of this is linked. It's just stuff I'm using. It's from Elf. It's like a satin matte, and the shade is called All Night. And it has a magnetic top, but you have to put it on the right way. But overall, I like it. So, but if you don't put it on correctly, then you're gonna listen, brisket and ribs. YouTube is dry as fuck. And I have so much that I'm gonna say about this, but not today. Today, I'm gonna go and mind my business. I'm also go mind my mom's business and my auntie's business. I'm gonna go hop on Twitch. It's Audra Range at twitchtv.com. I don't know if that's it. I'm just making that up off the top of my head. Until maybe Tuesday, maybe next Sunday, we shall see. I'm in a little weird place right now, y'all, because my route is still too large. It's not cut yet. It's hopefully go and Brown Girl Bella. That's another person. If you're looking for Black content, Black beauty content creators, there's Brown Girl Bella as well. But there's I am working, my route is way too large. If they get it cut the way that I'd like them to get it cut, which I'm hoping will be done by the end of this month, which would basically, because we're having our mail survey, which is where they evaluate our routes, then March timeframe, I should hopefully not be working 10 or 12, or even like I did on Monday, a 13-hour day. So appreciate y'all for coming, chilling, hanging out. I think that tracks, I'm gonna go do like I have notes that I've been working on. Poor M has to listen to me bounce all of the ideas off of them so that I can, get it all together, because we do need to talk about, it's not just YouTube that's dry, like all of the content is dry. It's dry everywhere. And I really want to have a conversation about it. Please like the video on the way out. Until next time, y'all. Maybe Tuesday, we shall see. Again, we just never know how I'm feeling, but I am so pretty, and so are you. Also, if you're all on the replay, this is the end, should I get my septum pierced? Let me know. Bye.